he is also, though, somebody who exemplifies the bond between Scotland and England. So, as well as being probably our most distinguished Special Forces officer, Director Special Forces, most experienced officer in Iraq and Afghanistan, he's also a great symbol of Britain. And he's a very busy man, and he's very kindly come at his own time to fly up to be with us today, and I'm very proud to have us with him, and I hand over to General Sir Graeme now.
The trick is never to follow three people that know what they're talking about. In this case, but actually in my case, when Rory about 2 days ago, I just got back from abroad, said, could you come up on Sunday to Scotland, to Gretna, to this, I without a moment's hesitation said yes. You know, I think somebody once wrote that you're remembered in life for the small acts of kindness. And my experience of working with Rory is here is somebody who has spent his entire life giving small acts of kindness. I have an absolute golden rule: I only work with people I like. I only do stuff which I believe to be interesting and purposeful, and ideally I get paid for it. Rory hit 2 of the 3. And so therefore coming up today was not a problem. And why? Because Rory cares. He cares for people. I've seen it. He cares for history. He cares for our heritage. He cares for what has been past, and he cares for the future. It matters. He cares for Scotland. And he absolutely cares for the Union. As a soldier, my father was a Cameron Highlander. He went from Alamein through to the Reichsfeld. My brother was a Queensland Highlander, and I commanded the Queensland Highlanders. So my Scottish links and my family are rooted in Scotland, but I rest my head in Surrey, which is now home. But for 38 years of my service, duty, service, sacrifice was simply about the Union. The sum of the parts which make us such an extraordinary nation. There was nowhere I have been, and I've done every continent, come across the good, the bad, and the really, really, really ugly. Not only physically, but in fact what I call in their attitude to humanity. And it is amazing what weight we carry as British. It said, you can't make a soldier with braid and trapping braw, you cannot give him spirit when his back's against the wall. It's the breeding in his callants that will not let him whine, the blood of generations fair lang sign. 361 years ago, the first of foot for all Scotland were established. So the lineage between Scotland, England, Northern Ireland and Wales, the Union, the United Kingdom, of how we went out, forged a great empire, handed it back. Those are long-standing. This stone is an absolute cracker. Read it. Because it captures the spirit of comradeship. Did I judge somebody because he was from Wales or he was from Ireland, or whether he was from Scotland or whether he's from England? No. But I had absolute trust at every turn, if he was a British soldier, that he would act morally, ethically, legally, and he would not fold or falter. It would be a great shame if we were to lose that united Union. We are an island race, and I sense the better for it, and we can stand with a slight indifference, you might say arrogance, to the rest of the world and walk and tread our own path. We do so as the sum of the parts, not separated. So, I'm with Rory. I think what he's done here is fantastic. This year, in 2014, as we look back 100 years to the Great War, it's a really stark reminder that together we stood against. I think as Churchill in his book The Gathering Storm talks about, our unwisdom, carelessness and good nature allowed the wicked to rearm. And we heard about Gallipoli. When he lost Gallipoli, Churchill did what? He put on the uniform of a Scottish commanding officer and went into the trenches and fought in the Great War. The Union is strong. I wish it to stay so. Thank you.